Hi class, today we're going to talk all about your assignment. Your assignment today is perspective drawing. So let's jump into the PowerPoint. With perspective drawing, you guys are going to create me a city. So first let's talk about perspective. So with perspective drawing, you have your vanishing point and horizon line. Your horizon line is this line right here, is literally just the horizon, so that's easy to remember. And then your vanishing point is where everything goes to disappear. So let's say that you are looking at a train track. You can see it as far as you can see, and then eventually it will disappear. That is what your vanishing point is. When you are starting out a perspective drawing, you are always going to start off with your horizon line and vanishing point every single time, no matter what. So here is a good example. You have your convergent lines, you have your vanishing point, you have your horizon line. This is pretty much how all of your artwork should look. If you're trying to do a perspective, they should all have that vanishing point and all have that horizon line. So let's talk about perspective. So you have 1 point perspective. This is just, there is one single vanishing point. Note that if objects are above the horizon line, they will make it look like you are looking up at them. And if they are below the horizon line, then it will make it look like you are looking down at them. So you kind of always want to keep that in mind when you are creating your artwork, where you're putting it on the vanishing point or on the horizon line, so that you can kind of see if you want to be looking up or looking down at it. So here's a really good example of 1 point perspective, just 1 point going backwards. Here is 2 point perspective. So notice how this one has two different vanishing points. You have the worm's eye view, the street level, and the bird's eye view, just like we talked about for the 1 point perspective. If you do it higher than the vanish or higher than the horizon line, it will look like you're looking up, and lower will make it look like you are looking down. 2 point perspective has two vanishing points. 3 point perspective. So 3 point perspective is very dramatic. You want to use this when you have a really dramatic look. If you want to have drama in your artwork, a lot of comic books have this as well. So this has an extreme bird's eye view or worm's eye view. So worm's eye view is when you have pretend you are a worm and you're looking up at a building. It's ginormous. And bird's eye view is like you are flying over a building and you are looking down on it. So this picture over here is bird's eye view. And of course, 3 point perspective means you have 3 points. So 1, 2, and 3, 3 vanishing points. Okay, let's talk a little bit about your project. So for your project, I want you guys to create your own city. I want you to create a stylized city in your specific style. If you think of a city that you would absolutely love to live in, that you could design all on your own. So you're going to create a city in 1, 2, or 3 point perspective. Keep in mind that 1 point perspective is the easiest, 2 point perspective is medium, and 3 point is hard. So choose your ability level, or if you want to challenge yourself, go ahead and do that. But really choose which one of those three that you feel like you can accomplish and accomplish well, and go ahead and do that type of perspective. The next thing that you guys need to do is you need to include 2 layers of building. So what I mean by this is on this slide right here, this only has 1 layer right here. This looks a little bit unfinished to me and it's a little bit more boring, right? Go down here, this has at least 2 layers of buildings. So there are buildings behind the other buildings to make it look like it's a big city. This kind of just looks like a random street corner. This looks like a big city. So let's go back to your project. So you need to include those 2 layers of buildings. You need to add small details. So you need to have windows and doors and street lamps and sidewalks. So this one is still a little bit boring for me. I want it to look more like this. They have trees, they have lamps, they have bushes, they have storefronts, they have all sorts of exciting things in there. Okay, another thing that I need you guys to have is 2 or 3 side streets if you are doing 1 point perspective. So let's go ahead and go back to 1 point perspective. Over here is where you guys would do the side street. So that makes 1 point perspective a little bit more exciting and engaging as if you add some side streets. So there's a side street here and a side street here. That way it's not just a one single long shot. Okay, the next thing is we talked about on Friday about graffiti. I want you guys to add graffiti with exposed brick. So I'm going to show you guys how to do exposed brick. I want you to do something like this on your projects and do an exposed brick on one of the sides. I also want you guys to do a mural on one of the sides of the building. I want your mural to be something that you really love. So this could be a portrait of you. This could be a portrait of a family member. This could be your dog, your favorite food. It could be abstract with your favorite colors. So some sort of a mural on one of the buildings. And this needs to be fully colored, and you need to use up the entire page. So you're just going to do this on a normal sheet of printer paper, take up the full page, you choose your 1, 2, or 3-point perspective, and follow all the guidelines. So let's look at some examples. So here is my first example that you guys have already seen. I really like this one. It's colored, it has some exciting details to it. These examples do not have your graffiti and your mural as well. So remember to keep those in mind. Here is another example. So you guys are free to stylize this however you'd like. So this artist, they did a octopus, right? In this one, they did 1-point perspective with the octopus leaving the city. And this one, they did 2-point perspective with the octopus kind of getting people in buildings and wrapping its tentacles around all the buildings. So I want you guys to really stylize this. You guys are welcome to do a big animal in there, people running if you'd like, however you would personally like to stylize it, as long as it has those guidelines that we talked about before. Okay, that is it. I'm going to now make another video showing you guys how to do the brick. So go ahead and start on your projects, and I will show you guys how to do exposed brick. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoy this project. I can't wait to see you create.